welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be testing some makeup that I received in PR and just doing like a full face, testing some new makeup. I'm really excited about everything, but specifically the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I have 3 different shades, so we'll see which one is the best match for me today. So here is shade 12. This is shade 11. And then shade 10.5, which I feel like might be it. Just to give my skin a little bit of luminosity and a little bit of glow underneath the foundation, I'm going to use the Say Sun Glow. This is the bronze one. I love the Star Glow as well. Sun Glow is always really nice for summertime because it just gives you a little bit of that bronze. I'm just going to apply this all over my face. I am going to use the Hourglass foundation brush, so it's like this nice little angled brush. And this is the one that they recommend for using when you apply the foundation. So we're gonna go in with 10, because when I did those little swatches, it looked pretty full coverage, but let's try to just sheer it out and see how much coverage we get with just like a light little layer of product. I feel like that looks pretty good. It also might just be me, but I feel like it oxidizes ever the slightest, just slightly darker than what it looks like when it's actually wet. That's really rare for me, that I feel like I notice foundations oxidize on my skin, but this one seems to get slightly darker when it's drying down. For the sake of this video, I rinsed it off and I'm gonna reapply it without the Say Glowy Gel and see if that was what making it look darker, because it did look a lot darker than when I did the swatch without the Say Glowy Gel. So I feel like maybe because that's a little bit bronze, that's what was giving the foundation shade like a little bit of a deeper tint. And I feel like even just like a tiny bit gave me a really good amount of coverage. It covered up like all my hyperpigmentation really nicely and super natural looking at that. So this is a new concealer from Honest Beauty. It's the Fresh Flex Concealer. And I really wanted to try this. I'm gonna just dot it right on the inner corner of my eye, lightly around the eye area, just to add a little bit of brightness. And then a little bit down the bridge of my nose. I'm gonna use it the way I would use, you know, all my other concealers, so we can really see what this looks like underneath the eye area. It feels really nice and creamy, and honestly the way it's blending in is reminding me of the Kosas Revealer Concealer. Like the formula feels the most similar to that, so that's what I can really compare it to give you a little bit of an idea of how it feels. I feel like that's kind of what it's feeling like to me, because it's really creamy. Wow, this one is really giving me a ton of coverage under the eyes, and I feel like the shade is good too. It's giving me a little bit of brightness. Another thing I'm noticing, this concealer is considerably more dewy than the foundation itself. When the foundation set down, I was honestly surprised at how satin it is. I just like don't really see all that much glow on the planes of my face where there's just foundation, but you can see where I have the concealer, the light is really bouncing off underneath my eyes. Remember, I took the illuminator off, so this is like just the concealer and just the foundation. So for bronzer, I'm super excited. We're gonna try the Say Sun Melt. I've never used this before. This one is in the shade Medium Bronze, and this is like supposed to be one of Say's best products. I always see people really raving about this. So I'm actually going to apply this with just like a fluffy brush. I want to take it easy. And I'm just gonna start around my hairline. Okay, so pigmentation is actually not crazy. It's building nice. I feel like I'm still getting a really natural amount of bronze from the product. When you touch the product, it feels really melty and it gets, you know, like that's a lot of pigmentation. But then once you blend it out, it looks really soft. So it's kind of deceiving in that way, I guess, because my brush looks like it has a ton of bronzer on it, but it's just not getting that intense. And there's also a little bit of pearl to it, so it does have some more of that little bit of luminous finish, which I really like. Too Faced released another Better Than palette. So this is the Too Faced Better Than Chocolate palette. Mostly those warm cocoa browns and just like neutral shades, but then you can see like there's a couple fun statement shades in there as well. So we're gonna try this today because I do want to see how those apply. So I was just swatching the 2 brighter shades. This top one is Sugar Rush, and then this lower one is Bless Your Tart. I thought this one was gonna be a little bit more punchy, so I think it needs a base. Here's that purple on top of the white. It just kind of makes it like a soft lavender tone. I take the MAC white paint pot and I'm going to just lightly apply this all over the eyelid, just so we have a little bit more of like a, you know, bright base for the shadow to stick out on. Okay, and then I wet my brush and I'm gonna pop Sugar Rush like right on top. And I feel like then on top of the white base, see, that actually looks like what it looks like in the pan. I'm not gonna lie though, the shadow itself is kind of dry and it's not really like doing all that much. I completely redid the face because there was just like purple glitter fall out everywhere. I decided we're gonna try one more time. I really wanted to show you these Item Beauty ones too. I have 2 shades, like a rose gold, and then one is more of like a bronze. These are the Item Lid Glazes. Really pretty, but just for the sake of switching it up and showing you some different shadows, because I know I always wear neutrals, but that's truly like what I love. We're gonna try to make this eyeshadow palette work. So I'm just going to pop yet again some eyeshadow primer potion from Urban Decay on. So dipping my fingers into a lot of these shimmer shades, if you will, they're more like sateen shimmers. You can see that they're not like super foiled or particularly like wet looking. They have a little bit more of this like velvety finish to them. So I'm almost feeling like they might perform better on top of the other shadows. So I'm going to take nice buns and just lightly run that through the crease. This is the shade Brownie Points. I'm taking it on an angled brush. I'm just going to run that along my top lash line. The mattes are really nice and creamy. You get good pigmentation. You can still, you know, blend them out. Dare we try the Sugar Rush shade again? We're gonna do it. And I think I'm gonna pick it up on my finger, just like this, and I'm gonna try pressing it onto my lid. This is almost like a glitter too. Like it's kind of not really going on like a fully opaque shade. It's just really finely milled purple glitter, giving it that iridescent effect. So I'm gonna lightly apply this all over the eyelid, just using my finger and almost like pushing it into my eyelid like it's a cream shadow. I'm gonna take the shade Skinny Dipped. I'm gonna try to blend that into the outer corner just a touch. I'm gonna blend that in just a touch too. Like I want this to meet the purple so they kind of just like fuse into one. I'm just gonna say it, I feel like these aren't the easiest shadows to work with. I think they look really pretty. It's either that I'm just completely inept at eyeshadow, which I think is the case, or this is not like the best formula. This shade called Milk It, which is like a golden iridescent shade, and I'm gonna pop that right on my inner corner. These are so weird. They're like, I don't know, they're kind of chalky. I'm not doing the best at them. Up a little bit of this on my lower lash line, and we're really having a hard time getting there. Should I try putting some of Bless Your Tart on there? Let's see. I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is I have completely annihilated the shade Sugar Rush. I've just like made a huge dent in it, trying to get it to pop on my eyelids a little bit better, but this wasn't as bad as the first try. Okay, so now that we've spent 40 minutes trying to get these eyeshadows to work, we can move on to some other products. Laura Mercier released a new powder, so it's the translucent setting powder, but this version is the ultra blur version. I have not yet tried it, so I'm just removing the little sticky. One side of my face first, and then we'll do the other side. So I'm just gonna set right under the eyes, dust away the excess. I think I grabbed a little bit too much. I'll set like right in the center of my face. I'm just gonna do 1/2 so you can kind of compare. So you can see it's actually, that's not bad. There's just like a soft blur effect to it. I actually don't think it's like too overpowering, especially if you put a setting spray on top. I feel like that would actually be nice because then you could get rid of any of like the powdery finish. I don't hate it, and I'm hard to please when it comes to powders. I am going to take a little bit of powder bronzer and just use this to help soften out some of these shadow lines like on the corners of my eyes. I always like to do this just to blend everything in a little bit better with the rest of my face. I think it just kind of makes the eyeshadow look a little bit more finished. Benefit released some new blushes and I'm really excited about these. There's so many beautiful colors. I have 3 right here today. So this bright pink one, which is Krista, which I feel like is a little bit too much for this look. Willa, which is a really nice kind of like soft rose. Butterfly, which is a golden orange. I think today we're gonna do Willa because it's gonna be the one that's going to be the most complementary with this look specifically. And they all look like they're really nice and luminous, so they have like a little bit of glow to them, which I personally really like. I always like my blushes to be a little bit more luminous. This one's like an easy color to get with, especially if you wear a lot of eyeshadows and you want to pick one that's like not going to compete with your look, I feel like this one specifically, Willa, is really good. And it has like a little bit of a purple tone to it, so I feel like it goes really nice with the eyeshadows as well. And I'm going to take a little bit of the blush on an eyeshadow brush and just lightly buff that into the crease of my eye too. Okay, so I'm going to quickly just put a little bit of setting spray on just to help take away some of these powdery finishes, and I really like the way it makes my highlight pop. But we're going to try a new highlight today, so I want to give it the best chance. I'm going to get my skin nice and ready for the highlight, because I feel like when you put the setting spray on first and then you do the highlight, it just makes the highlight look really glazed and perfect. I'm gonna do the Bobbi Brown Peach Glow highlight. I'm gonna use my Laura Mercier finishing brush, really just pick up the highlight like that. That's what I really like doing, so I can almost like buff the highlight into the skin. And then we're just gonna lightly start buffing this all over the high points of the face. I think that looks really good. These Bobbi Brown highlights tend to be a little bit more soft. They're not as, you know, like foiled or bright. Not bright's not the right word, but they tend to not be quite as metallic as other highlights. So if you do prefer a natural highlight, I think you will like these. I think that's super pretty. I'm gonna try the Item Brow Chow Brow Pencil. This one's in medium brown, and I'm super excited about this because it has almost like a little mini artiste brush instead of a spoolie. I've never seen that before, so I'm gonna see how this goes. So I'm using medium brown. It's got that like triangular kind of chunky brow pencil in the front. Okay, so we're gonna try this little brow thing, little brow brush instead of a brow spoolie. It feels so weird. It feels like super soft because, you know, spoolies are usually kind of rough. This is interesting. I think I actually really like this little brow thingy. It's honestly just like so soft and gentle. It's crazy. I like that, and I think this is a good shade too. The liquid highlights from Item, I did a YouTube short on them. The Hey Hi Halo liquid highlights, those are amazing. Like, I actually really like those. This is new from Essence. It's the Lash Princess liquid liner. It's like this stubby little thing, and I'm just gonna do like a light line, not light line, but a thin line around my lash line just to beef up my lashes. I'm not like winging it out or anything. So I just gave my lashes a little curl. I used my Shiseido lash curler, and we're gonna try the new Makeup Forever mascara. Very interesting looking. So you have step 1, which is lift, and it's this thin little brush, kind of a la Maybelline Lash Discovery. And then step 2, which is the other side of the wand, and this is the volumizing side of the mascara. So we're gonna start with the lift side. I wanna get like a nice, you know, even coat so that we get some good lash base going. So this is supposed to like give your lashes a little bit of a lift. I guess we will see if it keeps my lashes actually curled. Okay, I really like the tiny brush. If you have short lashes or like tinier eyes and it's difficult to maneuver a mascara wand, this is really nice because it's so ultra small. And then you go in with side number 2 for the volume. This brush is shaped, you know, like more like a Christmas tree. It's like the cone-shaped one. And we're just going to layer this right on top. I feel like if anything, the side is giving like a lot of length. Not necessarily, you know, a ton of volume, but I feel like there's a lot of length coming in. And then we will pop it on the lower lashes. Try to give those a little bit more volume. I feel like side 2 really gives you kind of those like spider strip lash looking lashes. I really want to try the Kosas hot liners with you, so I think today, just because of this look, we should do something like a little bit more neutral. So here's the shade Peak, which I feel like might be a good option. So there's Peak, and then this one is the shade Max right on top. There are 6 shades of the hot liners in total. So with these automatic lip liners, they can sometimes be tricky. You can't always sharpen them. A lot of time these auto lip liners have a sharpener somewhere on the component. I'm not seeing one on this one, but I personally don't really need a super sharp lip liner. I actually prefer my lip liners to be a little bit more dull. The perfect shade for this look, it's a little bit more of like a neutral lippy shade. I just shut it and then I completely annihilated the tip. You want to make sure you completely roll it down before you shut it. I did get some exciting lip glosses in PR, which I'm very excited about because, you know, lip gloss is my absolute favorite. So these are new from Buxom. They are the Plump Shots. I have 3 shades: Guilt, Flush, just a clear one, which doesn't have a name on it, but these are obviously gonna be plumping glosses. And then the Bobbi Brown Crushed Oil Infused Glosses, one of my favorite formulas of glosses ever. We have the shade Cur Sugar, Bare Sparkle, and Bellini. Today, I wanna go with Bellini. This one, I feel like Bellini, but like like we have a glittery eye, so we might as well do a glittery lip. I'm gonna put this on. These are really nice and light. This isn't super glossy. I would use this more as a topper. Really nice and light. These Bobbi Brown ones, actually, they're kind of like more of a drier formula of lip gloss. I really like the tinted ones that have color because they feel a little bit more like lightweight than a typical lipstick. So this is Bellini. I would probably want something a little bit glossier, so I'm actually going to put some of the Plump Shot on top in just clear so that we can get a little bit more glow. Okay, the Plump Shot's also not super glossy. All right, this is the finished look. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like every time I actually do more dramatic eyeshadow looks, I always love them. Like, I say I don't like wearing eyeshadow, and I say I just like a cream eyeshadow for day to day because it's so quick and easy, but I feel like that's why I like cream eyeshadow, because I don't like spending the time on eyeshadow. But then when I do it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks so pretty. This shadow specifically, as you saw, took a lot of finagling, like 40 minutes or more, because I had to redo everything when it kind of like spilled all over my face. So I feel like we should do some really quick rapid fire reviews. Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. First time wearing it, I like it. Obviously I can really only speak to the ease of application of the product, and then I'll update you more with how they wear once I've worn them for a few weeks. I liked it. I thought it applied really nicely. It's got a lot of pigmentation and coverage though, so if you have used the Hourglass Vanish Liquid Foundation or even the Vanish Stick Foundation, the Hourglass foundations, they are really pricey. It is a prestige brand, but the tiniest bit of their base coverage products goes so far, and I've never like had an issue with Hourglass foundations having like doing me wrong. I feel like every time I try an Hourglass base product, I genuinely really love it. So I'll be eager to see how this goes. I don't think it's particularly glowy, and that could be because I have a dry skin type, so you know, it might just set down a little bit more satin on my skin, but I didn't think it was like dewy or anything. It was kind of strange how it looked significantly darker when I had the sun glow underneath, because I don't find this to be particularly a strong bronze, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this just gives me a little bit of illumination and glow, but not necessarily like taking my skin to a darker shade. So I think it looked better without this underneath. I like this, but I'll probably have to use like a lighter illuminator when I'm testing out the Hourglass one. But overall, applied really nice, didn't have any issues. We'll try it with sponge fingertips as well. The Honest Fresh Flex Concealer. Upon, you know, initial first application, I told you I feel like it really did remind me a lot of the Kosas Revealer Concealer. Slightly more fluid upon that initial application, but really when you start working it into the skin, it gets quite sticky and creamy like the Kosas concealer. So it is lending itself more on the creamy side. I really did enjoy how dewy this looked underneath my eyes. It was significantly more dewy than the Hourglass Soft Glow foundation. Again, we'll see how it goes. Very full coverage. Again, same thing, like a little bit went a really long way. This is Say's Sun Melt. Overall, really enjoyed. I'm gonna have to clean this off a bit because I did get a little bit of Too Faced shadow fallout in there, but I did like this. I don't think it's as intense as it looks upon initially, like, you know, picking it up with your finger. It looks like it's going to be quite pigmented and maybe a little bit difficult to work with. I did find that this sheared out really nice. I like how it has a luminous finish. The formula is really smooth and creamy. Didn't have any issues with it lifting up other makeup products. And then we tried the Laura Mercier Translucent Ultra Blur. I really was not expecting to like this as much as I do. It's not over the top, and I feel like that's the nice thing about Laura Mercier powders. They always surprise me because I consistently really like them. I feel like they're always coming out with new variations of the translucent setting powder. The only one that I didn't really enjoy were the light catcher or star catcher version of this powder. I just found it, you know, for me particularly, that was when I had a lot of acne, so it was really just causing a lot of apparent texture and bringing all of that to light. But this one, for being like ultra blurring, I feel like it looks really good. Like, I don't feel like I'm looking cakey. I don't think my under eye looks crepey, and when I even like touch the under eye, it feels really nice and smooth. But overall, yeah, I don't think it's making my skin look any more dry. Honestly, I know I've been somewhat of a powder hater over the years, but it is a necessary makeup product, especially during the summertime or when you do want your makeup to last as long as possible. Powder really does help, so I will continue to test that out. The Too Faced Better Than Chocolate palette. If you've tried this, I would love to know your thoughts. I don't know if I see myself trying to use those shimmery shades, the purple and the blue again, because I have so many iridescent pigmented shimmer shades that give me this look, but with an easier application than this. I will say some of the other shades, such as Skinny Dipped, Ooey Gooey, Gold Digger, those have that kind of unique like satin velvet shimmer finish. They're not quite as shiny as a typical shimmer. And then the matte shades performed as usual. So I will continue to play around with it. I just don't, I mean, like, being completely honest, like, I really don't know if I'd reach for these bright shades again, because I mean, I don't know. I really like the way this eye look came out, but like, it took way longer than it should have. But if you apply with your finger, it works nice. But like, no, because I could put a purple cream shadow on and then put like an iridescent powder on top, and I feel like I could still get the same effect. I really liked the Benefit Wild Blush. It honestly kind of reminds me to be like somewhat in the same vein as Dallas, which has sadly been discontinued. But this still gives me kind of that neutral rosy tone. Obviously Dallas had a little bit more beige to it, like it was a little bit more fleshy. This one's a little bit more pink toned. Overall, I really like this. I love a nice luminous powder blush, and then I'll try the other shades as well. Obviously I'm a big fan of the Bobbi Brown highlighting powder. I have been for years. This is Peach Glow. I really like the warmth in the shade to Peach Glow. I really think this is complementary to my skin tone. These are really great for people who prefer a powder highlight, but a powder highlight that's not too intense. And they also look really beautiful on the body. So like on the clavicle, shoulders, chest, all of that area. They're really great powders, very long lasting. I really like the Bobbi Brown highlighting powders. Item lid glazes, I did not test these, but I will test these and give you an update on those, probably on TikTok, because I feel like it's just 2 shades, but wanted to try something like more fun and not just do, you know, a neutral shade today. I really liked the item Brow Chow. I really like this little tiny brush thing on one end. I thought that was super unique. Feels really nice and soft, and I liked the shade of the brow pencil as well. And then the Kosas Hot Liner. Like I said, I'll keep testing these out. We're gonna have to see how long they last, if they're long lasting. I don't think they're marketed as long wear lip liners, but overall I really did like the shade, and they have some really nice kind of like everyday types of shades of these. I'm a big Kosas fan. Essence Lash Princess Liquid Liner, not bad, not great. Honestly, there's something about it. It feels kind of awkward to use, I think because it's a little bit stubby. I don't think it would be my best friend if I was trying to actually do a wing liner makeup. I feel like I'd have a little bit of a difficult time getting the hang of something this like short and big for doing eye makeup. And then I wish I had tried this one. This is the Too Faced Better Than Sex Chocolate Brown Liquid Liner. Like, this is more of like a traditional liquid liner, so I just feel like it feels more like you get precision in the hand when you're using something like this versus this. I don't know. There's just something about it. There's a learning curve. I feel like I like my hand a little bit further away from the felt tip or whatever. You know, I feel like I like my hand to be a little bit further away. The Makeup Forever mascara in about 30 minutes, and my lashes are still perked up. And for me, it's typically instantaneously I know whether or not a mascara is gonna hold my lashes. Like, I can have my lashes curled, and if I put a mascara on and it's not gonna hold the curl, they go automatically straight. So it could have something to do with that lifting aspect of step 1, but again, we'll just have to keep testing it and see how that goes. But overall, like, really impressed with how intense it made my lashes look. And then we tried these glosses. So the Bobbi Brown Crystal Infused and then the Buxom Plump Shots. Both of these are like not super glossy and super wet. I love the Crushed Oil Infused tinted, like I mentioned. I was expecting these to be a little bit more juicy, a little bit more glossy, so I was kind of shocked by that. And then the same thing with the Buxom Plump Shots. I just felt like these weren't glossy. They're like a little bit more, almost kind of moussey. You'll have to try these and then tell me what you think, but I just kind of feel like they feel almost kind of like there's a little bit of dimethicone in them or something. They've got a lot of slip to them, but not stick. So if you don't like sticky glosses, these might be for you. So that is everything I wanted to test out for today's video. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Have you tried any of these new makeup products, or are there any new makeup products that you really want to see me test out and review? I will have specific shades as well in the description box, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and come follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you haven't already. I'm posting a ton of beauty content on TikTok.